Jerome Turman. He is live in the 27 studios in Madison. Jerome?
All right, thanks a lot. President Bush takes to the airwaves tonight with a primetime address on Homeland Security. During a speech in Atlanta, the president will call for continued vigilance, but also a return to normalcy. Before his speech, he will tour the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The labs have been on the front lines in Homeland Defense investigating the anthrax outbreaks from letters sent through the mail. You can see his speech at 7 o'clock right here on Channel 27. Air travelers should feel a little safer tonight. Industry officials say major airlines have finished installing steel bars and other equipment to strengthen cockpit doors. Eventually, airplanes will have new doors that could stop a bullet and withstand violent kicks, while still allowing pilots to escape in an emergency. In northern Afghanistan, opposition forces are steadily advancing toward a key Taliban stronghold. The forces say they've been helped by round-the-clock U.S. bombing. Meanwhile, the Pakistan government dealt the Taliban a harsh blow today. They shut down their diplomatic office in the country's largest city, Karachi. Remember, we'd like to answer your questions about America's fight against terrorism. Just go to our website at WKOWTV.com and click on the America Fights Back Q&A link. Tonight at 10, 27 News anchor Monique Lavin will answer a question from Mr. Jack Keys. He asked, why has the U.S. been able to use satellites to locate fault lines in the United States, but it can't find bin Laden's caves in Afghanistan? The answer at 10. Well, there's no doubt the last 2 months have been incredibly stressful for Americans. 27 News reporter Shannon Piet explains how in times of stress, while some turn to their faith, others open their fridge. Now, health experts say the #1 reason of diet failure is stress. Well, despite travel jitters after the attack on America, many Americans will still drive this Thanksgiving. AAA predicts overall holiday travel will drop only 6% compared to last year. Around 87% of travelers will go by car, the highest percentage ever recorded by AAA. Officials say that number is boosted by an expected drop in air travel. It'll cost more to keep roads clear of snow and ice this winter. That's because salt prices have increased by as much as 25%. Officials say last year's harsh winter pushed salt mining to capacity. Hundreds of Janesville auto workers will be temporarily laid off next week. That story is from our Rock County newsroom tonight. General Motors says 2 plants will be shut down from Monday to Thursday to adjust inventory levels. About 850 workers will be laid off. The plants make GM trucks and Isuzus. Those are today's top stories. Let's send it back out to Wendy and Monique in our town, Columbus.
Has your top stories. Jerome?
All right, thanks a lot, Monique and Charles. A crime in the midst of 70,000 football fans remains unsolved tonight. And in one way, that's no surprise. It was a theft at Camp Randall Stadium, and thefts happen every day. But as 27 News reporter Tony Galley tells us, this theft happened to someone who could least afford it. Since the referendum failed Tuesday, the Milton School District says the next round of budget cuts will be tough. 27 News Rock County reporter Portia Young joins us from our Rock County newsroom with more. Thanks a lot, Portia. Family-owned Mott's Paint of Madison is selling its company to nationally known Sherwin-Williams of Cleveland, Ohio. Mott's has been manufacturing paint in Wisconsin for 80 years, but says the legal cost of fighting a lead paint lawsuit by the city of Milwaukee forced it to sell its business. The lawsuit dates back to the 1950s when Mott's and other companies used lead-based paint before the hazards were known. In other business news, a top Rayovac executive has resigned. Randall Stewart is leaving to be closer to his children in San Diego. He served as the Vice President of Administration and Chief Financial Officer for the Madison-based company. Rayovac's current president, Kent Hussey, will assume its duties. And that's it from the 27 Newsroom. Let's send it back to Monique and Charles live in our town, Columbus.
All right.
With the recent tragedies in New York and Washington, D.C., the nation has been shrouded in darkness. But the true American heroes have been a glimmer of light. Well, we have some real-life heroes right here in Wisconsin. Every Monday through November, you will hear one person's special story. Tonight, we have the story of our first Wisconsin hero.
Dad, did we ever tell you that you are our hero?
In a time of terror, a hero emerges.
Just think of all the wonderful things you did.
In a time of fear, nobility steps from the shadows.
Putting out fires and saving kids.
For years, one local man has stepped up in the time of need.
In our eyes, you should be everybody's hero.
Who is this hero? He's former Waunakee Fire Chief Marv Hellenbrand.
I was on the Waunakee Fire Department for 31 plus years. I've seen some sad times and I've seen some good times. When we do have a call, like at night when that pager goes off, maybe at 2 o'clock in the morning when it's 20 below, our heartbeat just goes up a little notch because we don't know what's inside, especially when they say they don't know if the occupants are out or not.
We can't explain how proud we are of you, and Mom too.
With his wife Marlena by his side, he can now enjoy family gatherings without interruption. But for 31 years, Marv was always the man to call in the times of trouble.
My daughters even kid me once in a while if this is the 911 center.
We've been your biggest fan. Oh, how proud we were to say, my dad's a fireman.
The next thing I knew, I was choking. I began to black out. I didn't think I was going to make it. Marv got up and gave me the Heimlich maneuver and saved my life.
Not only do individuals have Marv to thank for their lives, but an entire community can look to the former fire chief for vital, life-saving equipment on the fire department.
The Carnsider photo imaging or heat sensor where firefighters can look through the heat, pick out bodies. Marv took the bat and the ball and went out and started promoting it.
To this family, if there's one man who made a real difference in the lives of the people in Waunakee, it was their dad, Marv.
Dad, have we told you lately
How proud we are of you? We don't think we have, and the time is overdue.
Now look for more Wisconsin Hero stories next week on Monday.
Thanks, Byron.
Well, Fox's newest reality show, Murder in Small Town X, premiere tonight right here on Fox 47, where several contestants are trying to catch a serial killer. But what does it really take to solve a murder? Tonight, we take you inside the Dane County Homicide Division, and we'll show you how Hollywood stacks up with reality. A crime has been committed. A life has been taken. But who did it and why? Call in the Dane County detective.
Like with a timeline system.
But what does it take to solve a crime?
We are seekers of the truth.
Where do detectives start their investigation?
Confessions are always great, but that can be supplemented.
Authorities say it starts with plain old-fashioned police work.
All the mundane things that don't normally get on TV or in the movies, that's how crime is generally, in my opinion, solved. It's simply good old-fashioned police work of talking to people and getting them to trust you to tell you what they saw or heard.
But sometimes old-fashioned police work just isn't enough because some crimes are so brutal they can't even identify the victim, like the Wavano Capaza case. That's when the detective work gets high-tech. Using state-of-the-art software, computers can generate an image of the mutilated victim.
The ability to take somebody's picture and show age enhancement over a period of time can greatly enhance the investigators or jar somebody's memory to try and remember something that they saw, or maybe somebody who looked like that.
After hundreds of hours of investigations, sleepless nights, and weeks away from home, detectives can start to compile a list of the murder suspects.
If it leads towards a husband, then we narrow the focus in that direction for the next day. Not only to put somebody into the investigation as a suspect, but also to eliminate people as suspects as well.
Detectives say after months of investigating, there's no greater feeling than to know they got the right person and to be able to bring closure to the victim's family.
It makes you feel really good inside is, this is the whole reason you enter law enforcement, and it's just satisfying that you can help somebody in that situation.
Helping people and feeling good about chasing down criminals. Even Hollywood knows that's a good ending. Now, Dane County detectives say most of the Hollywood murder mysteries are sensationalized and do not accurately focus on what it really takes to solve a crime. They say it boils down to knocking on doors and talking to witnesses, all the things that Hollywood just glazes over. And Lisa, it's amazing how much time and effort the detectives have to put in to solve a crime.
I bet, and sometimes they never get solved. That has to be
This is
frustrating.
true. Yes, it is.